What's up? I recently posted a video detailing all the repairs I've made and the money I spent doing so on my used SL500 over the course of 4 years. Here's a few tips I've learned over the course of the 4 years that'll help you if you want to get something similar or just any used car in general. So about 4 years ago I got this used SL500. It was a car that originally sold for 100 grand and I paid 20. Even though the first 10,000 miles I drove the car, it had basically no problem, I ended up spending about $10,000 over the course of the 4 years. The first 3 of which it was my daily driver. If you want specific details on those repairs, click the link in the description box to see the longer, more detailed video I did. Rambling on about shit. First up, there was a few main things that really racked up the cost of the repairs, and they're not exclusive to this car, being the air suspension, convertible hardtop, and worst of all, mechanics not quite knowing how to fix certain problems. So first, the air suspension. Many different cars have air suspension, mostly sports cars that are low to the ground, that you might need to raise so it doesn't scrape on a driveway or a large speed bump. There's even SUVs like Range Rover that have it, so you could perform acts of extreme savagery. It's definitely a cool feature, but if you get a car with air suspension, just know that there's a possibility that you're gonna have to spend thousands of dollars fixing it. And the air suspension systems can break in many different ways. Fixes can be relatively cheap, $200 to $300 to replace the fluids and flush the system, or it could be $5,000 to $7,000 to, replace the whole system. It happens. It's even possible to spend thousands of dollars on an air suspension related fix just to have a completely separate air suspension related issue a week later. Second, the convertible hardtop, or any convertible top for that matter. This car having a convertible hardtop is both a blessing and a curse. On the bad side of things, it can be just as complicated as the air suspension to fix. A lot of things can go wrong. One of the individual moving parts can get stuck or malfunction, the motor can go out, there can be an electrical issue that takes weeks to diagnose, all very expensive. On the positive side of things, it being a hardtop, the car is just as awesome with the top up as it is with the top down, so it's not an entirely necessary fix. Number 3, this one actually surprised me. Many different mechanics and even the Mercedes service center didn't always know how to fix specific issues that I brought the car in for. About half the time I brought the car in, I was given 3 options. A cheap fix that may or may not solve the problem, an expensive fix that usually involved replacing the part in question with rebuilt parts, and a very expensive fix that involved replacing the entire system in question with OEM parts and the parts of every other related system. And like I said, even the Mercedes service center didn't always know what they were doing. For example, I had this really minor issue one time. Pretty normal day. I was driving along and the brakes just decided to randomly, go out. It happens. I had it towed to my main specialty mechanic who struggled with fixing the problem, went to the Mercedes service center. Full inspection. They couldn't quite diagnose the problem, but recommended starting with replacing the entire braking system and the entire ABC system. The entire fix would have been close to $5,000. I didn't do that, and later realized it wouldn't have even fixed the problem. Well, on the subject of service centers, obviously when you get a used car, you're going to want to get it inspected before you buy it. Inspections like this are usually done with smaller, independent mechanics. It's always a good idea to, before you buy the car if you can, but even after you buy the car, take it to the official service center. Beware though, they will tell you there's a lot of things wrong with the car that you need to fix that you actually don't have to fix, and they'll want you to pay top dollar for it. Take most of the things with a grain of salt, ask them a lot of questions, dive into it, and take the report they give you to a few different smaller mechanics, so you find one who's knowledgeable and charges the right price. It's also worth a look seeing whether or not you're actually saving money by getting a used car. Including the purchase price of the car and the repairs, I spent just over 30 grand over the course of 4 years. You can definitely get something not as cool and with less features for 30 grand. However, in some cases, you can actually find better deals leasing or even buying a new car. For example, I could have leased a brand new SLK, including the down payment, taxes, fees, and monthly payment. I would have spent $25,000 over the course of 3 years and wouldn't have to worry about repairs or things going wrong with the car. But I don't want a fucking SLK. I want an SL. And even if you're on a higher or a lower budget, it's also worth a look into all 3 options. I'll be doing more car related videos in the near future, including how you can make money off your cars. So, if you want to know more about that, hit the subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. Also be sure to check out my other videos that I make, I make other types of videos where you could learn stuff or you could also be entertained and see something entertaining. That's cool if you watch video.